Hello everyone, welcome back to Anonymous World. Hope you all are doing well. I was very ill from last 2 to 3 days. That's why I was unable to upload the video for last 2 days, I guess. Anyways, I have a good news to share with you. I am giving away 5 TryHackMe 1 month vouchers. The event will start that giveaway will start from today and it will go till 23rd. And I will publish the result on day 24th in the same on the day 24th video, or I can upload a separate video for that. So make sure you find the link in the pinned comment, and please subscribe the channel. It is also a criteria for entering it in the giveaway. So today is day 20 of Advent of Cyber 4. So let's see what we have in day 20. Okay, so day 20 is firmware. Been walking around the Christmas tree. Now we can learn more about the mysterious device found in Santa's workshop. Elf Forensic Maglu has successfully been able to find the device ID. Now that we have the hardware device ID, we need to help Skiddy reverse the encrypted firmware and find interesting endpoints for IoT exploitation. So, learning objectives: what is firmware reverse engineering? Techniques for extracting code from firmware, extracting hidden keys from encrypted firmware, and modifying and rebuilding a firmware. Okay, so what is firmware reverse engineering? So every embedded systems like cameras, routers has pre-installed firmware which has its own set of instructions running on the hardware processor. So reverse engineering is working your way back to the code to figure out how it was built and what it does. Firmware reverse engineering is extracting the original code from the firmware binary file, and then you need to verify that the code does not carry out any malicious or unintended functionality, such as undesired network communication calls. So you can go through steps given for firmware reversing. Now, types of firmware analysis. First one is static analysis. So it involves an essential examination of the binary file's content, performing its reverse engineering and reading the assembly instructions to understand the functionality. So some of the tools are given. First one is binwalk, then firmware modkit FMK, then firmwalker. Then second one is dynamic analysis. So it involves running the firmware code on actual hardware and then observing its behavior through emulation and hardware software based debugging. So again, two tools is here. JMU, I don't know how to pronounce it. Then GNU debugger. So you can read about all the five tools. Now, shall we reverse the firmware? Yes, let's do it. So first launch the virtual machine by clicking start machine. The machine will load in a split screen. If it does not, click on the source split. Okay, so let's start our machine and wait. Okay, so our machine is started. In reality, the machine state remains the same and your progress is not lost. When reversing the firmware, use the password Santa1010 if prompted for a sudo password. Okay, so we have one password given. Okay, so Skiddy extracted the encrypted firmware from the device. To reverse engineer it, she needs an unencrypted version of the firmware first. So luckily, she found it online. Open the terminal and run the dir command. Okay, so there are three on folders: bin unsigned, and then firmware modkit. So the bin folder contains the firmware binary, while the modkit folder contains the script for extracting and modifying the firmware. So for this exercise, we will be using two tools, binwalk and firmware modkit, for verifying encryption, and can also be used to decrypt the firmware. So you to use binwalk, then tag e, then tag n, and firmware modkit library for firmware extraction and modification. Command is extract hyphen firmware.sh. So now coming over to the task, we need to perform the reversing step by step. So step one is verifying encryption. So here Skiddy will verify whether the binary firmware version 2.2 encrypted.gpg is encrypted through file entropy analysis. First change the directory to the bin folder. Okay, let's go to bin. Then we need to use binwalk to verify the encryption using the given command. Okay, so first let's see what's in bin. Okay, so our firmware is here. Let's clear the screen. Now bin walk, tag E, tag L, great. Rising entropy edge. So in the above output, the rising entropy edge means that the file is probably encrypted and has an increased randomness. Okay. So now step two is finding unencrypted older version. So since the latest version is encrypted, Skiddy found an older version of the same firmware online. So now version is located in the bin unsigned folder. So let's go to that folder, bin unsigned. Okay, so here is version 1.0 unsigned, which is unencrypted. So now Skiddy decided to use famous FMK tool for this purpose to extract the firmware change the directory by entering the command. Okay, so we are already there, and then extract firmware by using issuing the following command. Okay, so let's use extract firmware.sh, then our unsigned firmware, scanning firmware. Okay, it's a long output, extracting swash files. Password for test, so we have a password Santa 1010. Okay, firmware extraction successful. It can be found in home test bin inside fmk star. Okay, ls. Okay, we have a new directory fmk, so you can see all the files present, all the folders. Now step 3 is finding encryption keys. The original firmware is gpg protected, which means that we need to find a public and a private key and a paraphrase to decrypt the originally signed firmware. So we know that the unencrypted firmware is successfully extracted and is stored in fmk folder. So now the easiest way to find key is by using the grep command. I hope you didn't forget the grep room. The tag I flag in the grep command ignores case sensitivity, while the R operator recursively searches in the current directory and subdirectories. Okay, so let's search for key. Okay, so here is public key, private key. So it's here fmk root fs user has been, then files are given here. Now what we need to do, bingo, we have the public and private keys, but what about the paraphrase usually used with the private key to decrypt a gpg encrypted file? Now let's try to find a paraphrase through the same grep command. So instead of key, use paraphrase. Okay, so paraphrase is santa 202 at the rate 2022. Now skd has finally located the public and private keys and the paraphrase as well. So now our next step will be to decrypt the encrypted firmware. So now that we have the keys, let's import them using the following command. So now we will be importing our keys via the terminal. G import, then our keys were stored in fmk rootfs gpg, then private key. Okay, paraphrase, so it's santa at the rate 2022. Okay, so secret key is imported. Now next step is to import the public keys. So just change private key to public. Okay, now we can list the secret keys. So you can list the secret keys using gpg and list secret keys. Okay, so we have our private key and public key ready. Now once the keys are imported, skd decrypt the firmware using the gpg command. Again change the directory by entering command cd and then cd bin. Okay, so again we need to go to bin. So let's go to bin. Now we can decrypt our firmware version 2. Okay, so it's asking for paraphrase. So let's enter. Okay, great. Now after decryption, once you issue the ls command, the decrypted file result will look like this. Let's ls. So we have one new file here with now step 5, reversing the original encrypted firmware. Now this is the easiest step, and we can simply use binwak or fmk to extract code from the recently encrypted firmware. So for this given example, we will be using fmk to extract the code. So command was extract firmware.sh, then our new file. Great. Now Skidi has finally been able to reverse the completed firmware, extract essential files she will use for IoT exploitation in the next room. She has used the keys from an older version was to 1.0 to decrypt the latest version. Now the camera folder in the fmk root fs directory will contain all necessary files we'll be using in the next task. So let's do ls. Let's go to fmk, then root fs, then camera. Now first question, what is the flag value after reversing the file firmware version 2.2 encrypted.jpg? Note the flag contains underscore. If you're seeing spaces, the underscores might not be rendering. Okay, let's find our flag. Can we try grep? Okay, let's try this. Okay, it's not here. Okay, here is our flag. Even in plain sight. Cat flag.txt. Okay, so we got the firmware code. Now, what is the paraphrase value for the binary firmware version 1.0 unsigned? So it was Santa at the rate 2022. After reversing the encrypted firmware, can you find a build number for root fs? Okay, so let's go to camera. I think it was given in camera or root f. We are in root fs. Let's try lsh. Okay, let's go to camera. Yes, rc. Can we get this here? Oh no. Okay, let's try this. Ls. Okay, can be in bin. Let's go there. Uh, let's see if we can find it here. No, no. Yeah, it's here. Version 2.6.31. Okay, so it was in bin iptables.xml. So 2.6.31. So that's it for day 20. I will see you guys tomorrow in day 21. And make sure to participate in the giveaway. Till then, keep learning.